What is going on, guys? It is December 29th, 2022. This is going to be our last show before the new year. Super excited for the last episode of this. Man, it has been a great year for LSU Recruiting HQ. I'm so happy you guys could join us again today. If you're watching, make sure, if you haven't already, man, like the video and subscribe to the channel. It just helps us grow our page. And 2023 is just going to be another amazing year with LSU Recruiting HQ, and I can't wait to look forward to. But this is our first show since the National Signing Day show, so we've had the holidays. Hope you guys all had a great holiday. But man, we had some news popping off yesterday. Wednesday, we had LSU Hoops in action. But the biggest news of the day, of course, is Boutte announcing he will not play in the bowl game, and then shortly after that, announcing that he will declare for the NFL draft. Now, what does this mean? First of all, LSU initially sent out a statement saying Kayshawn was unavailable for the bowl game for no specific reason, but he was enrolled in the spring semester. So, piecing things together, just guessing, right? I have no intel, info, or anything like that. It almost sounds as if, something happened between the team and Kayshawn, because, when he wrote the comeback, like the letter that he was coming back, right? It was an LSU graphic. The design team made it very well thought out paragraphs, detailed, all that good stuff. Like it'd been well thought out and planned. And then the announcement from Kayshawn that he was declaring for the draft wasn't like everybody else's, the long paragraph, the stuff like that was just a simple tweet that says, after consideration, will be taking my time, going to the NFL draft and all that stuff. It was just a simple tweet. So that was kind of the first red flag right there, thinking that maybe internally something happened between him and Brian Kelly or the coaching staff or something in that some sort. I'm not going to speculate in what rumors are going around. The people are saying that he broke a team rule and he was suspended for the bowl game. And then that was kind of like the final straw. He was like, well, I'll just go to the NFL. And that very well could possibly be a thing. Or maybe he truly did have a change of heart and just decided that the NFL was a better move for him right now. Either way, a huge loss for LSU getting their number one wide receiver back, and having the fan base super excited about having him back for another big season. And then now kind of like the deflating moment of now he's going to the NFL. Obviously wish him nothing but the best. Been an amazing LSU Tiger from what he's had to go through since he's been on campus. It's just not a lot of kids can handle that stuff, and he's done it the best to his ability. So nothing but love for Kayshawn Boutte. But the biggest question is now, where does that leave LSU? Well, obviously the wide receiver room is stacked. Like, this is going to be the deepest position group on the team. It always really is, because Louisiana is such a hotbed for athletes and the skill position guys. And it's the same thing. You have guys like Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas coming back, guys coming in like Shelton Sampson, Jalen Brown, Kyle Parker from Texas. You're going to have guys in that room, plenty of people to fill the void. But you just can't replace a guy like Kayshawn, a team leader, a guy that other people looked up to, did things good on and off the field. And he was just an all-around great football player. The numbers might not have been there this season, but he had a lot of factors coming into the season that that could affect your performance. So I mean, everybody's toned to a down year, but we all know the talent that Kayshawn has, and Kayshawn is going to be in the after he shows out at the combine, is definitely going to be a top round pick, like a one, probably a late 1-2, after he tests at the combine. Because obviously, going off these stats this year, they're probably going to his draft stock probably isn't as high as it once was. Um, but that being said, he once he shows out at the combine, it'd be no big deal, and teams will start to look past all the numbers from this year, because the kid's athletic, he's fast, he can run routes, he can do all that stuff. So it'll be no time before he shows that. But so you go from the devastating news, Keishon Boutte leaving, right? And then now you have to prepare yourself. If you're like me, you have to mentally prepare yourself to watch LSU basketball, right? Opening game of conference play, facing the number 9 team in the country at the PMAC. It was an amazing atmosphere at the PMAC. I wasn't there, but the from the TV, that place was packed. It was loud. It obviously affected Arkansas, who shot the ball very poorly. LSU shot the ball very poorly. It was a very poorly played offensive game. The refs really let them play it out in this game. LSU wins by a final score of 60-57. Upsets number 9 Arkansas and moves to 12-1. Like, this team, listen, everybody has their doubts about um everybody has their doubts about Mac McMahon when he was coming in. Not a really well-known guy, but he is a winner. He's won everywhere he's at. He's just proven that again here at LSU. The talent obviously isn't there yet, where we all want it to be. But these kids play hard. They play great defense. They play great team basketball, and it showed last night. As they led majority of this game. They were in control. There at the end, kind of scared me a little bit with the turnovers and the silly fouls and stuff like that. But they were able to pull through and get a huge top 10 win. That will boost that RPI up, and later down on the season, they'll be looking at this win right here as one of the games that could decide whether they make the tournament or not. Because I don't see LSU, running the table in the SEC this year basketball. But it was a great first step for Matt McMahon and a great win for this program in year one under a new coach. Arkansas has been the best team in the SEC the last 4 years. The most wins by far over any other program in the SEC. So the consistency that they built at Arkansas, and then you get a huge win like this to open up conference play. Hopefully, with this tough non-conference schedule, they can just leapfrog into the rest of these games and kind of build some momentum off of that, that kind of stuff. All right, next we're going to talk about the bowl game, because LSU still has to play a bowl game, obviously, with Keishon Boutte out. The roster and the depth chart has changed, but we already knew, guys. 7 players currently opted out of the bowl game. Whether it's transfer portal, draft, whatever it happened to be, people that were on the active roster are not playing. So this is a game. It's so hard to predict these bowl games, but the LSU Purdue game is even tougher because all the turnover going on at Purdue, just the new rules of college football, man, the transfer portal, the draft stuff, everybody's getting prepared for that. LSU has their own departures and stuff like that going on internally that, we might not even be hearing about. But, good news is Jaden Daniels and majority of this offense will be returning, will be playing in the bowl game. And that's what I'm looking forward to most, man. I want to see what Jaden Daniels has done through these 15 bowl practices and getting better, getting prepared for a huge senior year. This really has 2019 Fiesta Bowl vibes to it. You get a fifth-year senior quarterback coming back for his second year. You get a returning offense. You're returning every offensive lineman. You're 6 deep there. You're going to be bringing in humongous guys in the recruiting class. You have a great receiver room. You have a good running back room with Josh Williams, John Emery, guys like that coming back. Not saying John Emery hasn't announced yet, but he has the option to go play pro or come back. I assume that he will come back, but I could be wrong. But you have a good, solid roster on the offensive side of the ball. And then obviously you have guys like Harold Perkins and people like that are just ballers. And on that defense, now the secondary, is probably the biggest concern going. You're going to see some young guys play, but this is what is so great about these 15 practices is that these young guys get the opportunity to work on things and get better in a lot of time for improvement. And then even now with the new rule where they can play past 4 games if they want to play in the bowl game, that is a huge rule for development and guys like that. Guys like LaTerrence Wells, Jordan Allen, guys that don't see the field during the season very much, but are going to be needed in this bowl game because you have such low depth at that corner position. So it should be exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the young guys. The result of the game, obviously, I always want LSU to win, but the result of the game is not as important to me as seeing what guys play like what guys are playing like during the bowl game. What I'm hearing from bowl practices, how people are performing, and how bought in is this team to focusing on the goal of next season, right? Because LSU is going to have major expectations coming in the next season. We all know it. There's probably going to be a top 10, top 15 preseason team. All the expectations as being the SEC Western champs this year. A chance to possibly repeat as SEC Western champs. Very well could hold weight next year. So you're looking at a team that has huge expectations from the fan base, from the media, from themselves. Their goal is, Brian Kelly always says, hey, we want to graduate champions. So you know what? In order to be a champion, this is what we have to do. And it starts right now. Believe it or not, next season starts right now. These 15 bowl practices are so important for development and getting things right that it can just springboard you into the next season, kind of like that 2018-2019 Fiesta Bowl, against UCF. LSU took it serious, and they got that time together and got cohesive and got in touch with each other and found out who they were going to be and who they wanted to be to get to that next level. And we'll see if they can do that. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, the game is not until Monday. We will have a breakdown afterwards, after the game, to break down how that thing went. And then we'll start looking towards National Signing Day in the February. We'll start getting in that range. But like I said at the beginning of the video, if you guys are still watching, thank you guys so much. It's been an amazing year from you guys. The first year we've really got fully in tune into the YouTube thing, and I appreciate you guys all for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comment. Let me know what you guys think, how we can improve in 2023, because that's all this thing is about, is improving and getting better. And I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your holidays, and I will see you guys next week.